asked her, "Why is it so that you are so kind, you who are merely a gorgeous gorgon?" "Oh, the reason for that is that I am certain that I can kill anyone who says otherwise," replied the gorgon. The clergyman had never before heard such insight this well articulated, and took it to his heart and took it with him for the rest of his life, and a couple of years later, he died and went to heaven. The couples who make love to the beautiful ones are just as off target as the couples who make love to an audience. Do not eat sheep. Repeat this to yourself: being has a higher purpose, being has a higher purpose. Why not smoke weed all day? Challenge love, conquer beauty. Focus on your breathing. Repeat to yourself: I'm very, very feminine. I'm very, very feminine. I'm very, very feminine. Remember to tell yourself, I am significant. Take in how your sense of self is dissolving planet Earth. Punch a gnome. Don't be dumb, just explore your true self. Remember to tell yourself, my being matters. You must not allow dreams to hijack your nightmares. While some see a husband, others see a girl. Take notice of how your sense of being is connected to heaven. Someone has to masturbate. Do it now. Keep on breathing. Keep on breathing. Repeat to yourself, I'm young, I'm young, I'm young. Don't investigate youth. Giving birth can be like an imaginary expedition to heaven. Entertain the idea that ancient religious folk wisdom, humankind is alienating. Let go of your right hemisphere. Your ovaries adversaries are drifting away from the world. Focus on how your lungs are one with heaven.
Focus on how your lungs are one with heaven. Hello and welcome to this week's reaction stream.
Oh god, I wasn't even aware that Inspirobot started.
Dobbs missed it all.
Did I miss the Fuck, dude. Now I'm gonna be in a bad mood.
You're gonna have to rewatch it. There was some fucking pearlers there, that's for sure.
No, I'll just have it. I'll
Pretty
be on my
sure
own
this
machine,
video
I'll
is
just
gonna
have it
get
in the background.
Pretty sure this video is gonna get demonetized now because that was like, what was it? Someone start masturbating, do it now was one of them. Yeah, that's within like the first 5 minutes. I don't know how that's gonna go.
No, it's just all about getting inspired. It like literally is like you don't do that to get inspired, bro. Like come on, like seriously.
Hey, that's what the bot's for, right? Oh man. All right, well, welcome to the stream this week, guys. I need to drop the link for Dobbs because I forgot to do the SyncTube link for him, and there it is right there.
You fucking asshole.
You know, I just linked it to you. Now you can actually start watching. Or you can be prepared to watch, and it's gonna fuck up, and I'm gonna have to refresh the page, and you know.
Just
by the way,
strength. What?
If anybody knows of any other SyncTube alternatives, please feel free to let me know on the public Mongrel Squad Gilded server.
Listen, Agens, it's all about strength. You just need to have strength, right?
Strength,
Chat,
that's
the
it.
word of the day. The word of the day, if it's one thing that you take away from the stream today, it's strength. It's all about strength.
Strength. It's all about strength. I don't know, Dobbs.
What do you mean?
Don't know.
Would you
like,
not want to have strength?
What level of strength are we on about though, Dobbs? Are we like
iron
type
levels.
strength or diamonds type strength?
I mean, it's strength on all levels, man. Strength is strength is strength.
It's a public Mongrel Squad Gilded server, by the way. Just linked it down. Chat for you all.
Yeah, join the public Gilded server so you can interact with the rest of the org and all of its sisters. As well, you can talk to me about strength. It's a really interesting conversation.
And tell Dobbs, you know, how wrong he is. Or you can also vote and suggest content. You can vote on the content that we're going to react to each week, and you can also suggest content for us to react to as well.
It's about strength and power.
It's about drive.
You're not.
You picked up on it straight away. Good. No there, Crane. I haven't tried it. I'll have to have a look at it again. Blake says you're weak, Dobbs. Plain Blake. I don't know how serious you want to take that. It's pretty plain.
I mean, you can meet me in Star Marine and we'll find out who's weak.
Alright, I think that's enough just drawing off there. Thank you very much for joining us for this stream this week for the reactions / rants. We've got, what was it, 3 YouTube videos and 2 Spectrum posts to react to.
3 YouTube videos? Man, you guys are really not pulling any punches today. Now, I'm looking at you, chat. If you voted for videos and they don't turn out to be good videos, I'm going to be wagging my finger at you, sir. Hey, Sambo,
thank you very much.
For your 10. Thank you very much for the 10. It's all about learning how to combat pirates. And through that, you know what you're going to get? Strength.
Yeah, I guess. It'll certainly make your job a bit easier if you're planning on being a bounty hunter / security.
He's gonna be strong. He's gonna have power. It's all about strength.
He's gonna have drive. You keep saying it, I'll keep bringing it up.
God, dude.
Anyway, first bit of content that we're reacting to today, and I don't have the fucking link for it. I should probably grab it. Where is it? A lot of people voted for this one. It actually got suggested just shortly after the last week's poll went up. And I'm going to link it in chat for you guys if you want to watch it later. It's also in the description if you want to watch it later as well. But the video that we're reacting to...
in the chat. Hey, Agens, look, we have an Iron One in chat.
Do we? Are they an actual Iron One, or is it just an imposter?
He is an Iron Wolf. Think about it. Like, you're not a real wolf unless you're iron, dude. Come on. By the way, if you need a beautifully crafted PC,
we aren't sponsored by them. Stop fucking advertising them. It doesn't matter how much you advertise them, Dobbs. They're not going to sponsor you until you reach them. Until we reach the subscriber threshold.
We're gonna get sponsored by. Okay, I don't care.
Burning whiskey. It sounds like a very unproductive method of consuming whiskey, but thank you very much for the super chat, mate. Really appreciate it.
Salute from a German pirate. Thank you for your 5.
All right, here we go. This is what we're going to be watching first. So it's from Ray's Guide, 318 Piracy, hit or be a salvager.
Ray's Guide now. No, get it? All right, you understand? Cool.
So let's see what Ray has to say. Echo. Echo.
You relax. You're screaming in my fucking ears.
I'm trying to see if I proc your mic. All right, let's get this started.
Hello, this is Daniel Raymond. Ask a question and, quite uncharacteristically for me, not answer it. Because questions of player behavior driven by economics are not answerable in the PTU. Player decisions on long-term profitability can't be gauged in a situation where there is no long-term profit. Nobody is behaving right now in the 3.18 PTU consistent with how rich it will make them in 3 months, because the 3.18 PTU won't be here in 3 months.
You sure about that?
Did I miss a whole bunch of fucking context here? What the hell?
You sure
Hex,
about
thank you
that,
very
sir?
much. Thank you very much for the super chat there, Hex. I feel like I need to restart this because there was like... We're not even 30 seconds in, and I already feel like there's a whole bunch of context missing. That's not going to work, is it?
Hello, this is Sure Hope.
Yeah, of course not.
His guide. In this video, I should start by clarifying that by piracy, I mean making money out of stealing from ships by force. There are some folks who like blowing things up for the visceral thrill of watching things blow up, who will say that they are pirates because it sounds cooler than other names that people might be giving for such behavior.
No, I am a pirate,
and
sir.
Since CIG has said that piracy is a supported career, it gives them implied legitimacy to blowing things up for the sake of seeing them blow up, if they call it piracy.
Oh my God,
but actual pirates blow up ships for the same reason that miners blow up rocks, to get at the riches inside. I guess you could blow up rocks for the sake of watching rocks blow up, but you're not being a miner. So, returning to the question that I'm not going to answer, it is this. What fraction of pirates in 3.18 are going to hit salvagers or be salvagers? So first, let's talk about the business model of piracy in 3.17. It is essentially extortion. Pay us a fraction of your expected profit, or we will destroy you, and then you won't get anything.
Did he say 318 or 317? 317. All right, it's in.
He said 317.
Okay.
And hey, he used the correct term, Ages. What do you think about that?
Yes. Well, I'd be very disappointed if he didn't. Thank you very much for the super chat there, Richard Harris.
Thank you, Richard Harris, for the 5.
Lost 3 rock gem cargoes due to server issues. Yes, the Dread Pirate is the best pirate out of all of us. There's nothing that you can do to compete against them,
man.
or defeat them. It's, yeah, it's a thing.
Also, can we comment on, like, people just blowing shit up for the sake of blowing shit up? Like, meaning not being a pirate? Now, I just want to make it clear. I want to make a distinction between being a pirate and doing piracy. For instance, everyone in Mongrel Squad, okay, we are pirates because that is what we do as an organization. But also, everyone in Mongrel Squad will fly around and blow shit up just for the sake of doing it because it's fucking fun, right? I think we can all agree it's fucking fun to do that sometimes. But that doesn't delegitimize us as pirates because we do that. Sure, we're technically not doing piracy, granted, but it doesn't make us not pirates. What do you think? Did I misinterpret that, or is that what are your thoughts on that?
It's just another person trying to label others. Honestly, I don't really care. Like, if people want to fly around and blow other people up, they want to call themselves a pirate, whatever. Doesn't matter. It genuinely does not matter. Like, people will sit there and go, oh, but, you know, fucking pirates will say this. Oh, but they're giving us a bad name. It's like, we already have one. People just don't like us because we exist. Don't worry about fucking somebody flying around blowing shit up about tainting your bad name. People already don't like you, and it doesn't matter what you do or say, they're still not going to like you unless you stop doing piracy. And that's it. So unless you're willing to do that, fucking deal with it.
Yeah, I guess the point is, like, just because you actively engage in just like general PvP and you blow people up, it doesn't like delegitimize you as being a pirate or anything else.
Well, you know, 318, legitimate salvage. Everyone's legitimate salvage.
Yeah, and he said also, like, what the ratio between how much people are going to be doing piracy versus how much they're going to be salvaging. It's fucking both. Like, just because salvage is in the game, I don't think people are going to stop doing piracy. And salvage, if you watch our Mongrel Piracy Academy series, salvage is actually a part of our sequence of piracy now, where like as soon as we're done with everything, we just bring the vultures in and we just salvage the ship for that last little chunk of credits. That's it.
100%. All right, let's keep this going.
This business model has one flaw. Profit requires compliance. And more than a few targets are willing to say, screw you, I don't negotiate with terrorists, period. And sure, you can then blow them up to teach them a lesson. Except, of course, you didn't teach them a lesson. If they believed to never negotiate with terrorists before they encountered you, they're likely still believing never to negotiate with terrorists. True. Now, with 3.18, we have physicalized cargo.
Yeah, but the reason why you blow them up is not to teach them a lesson, it's to reinforce your point of threat. And that what you say is what you do. So if you tell them comply or die and they don't comply, then they die. It's as simple as that. You're not trying to teach them a lesson, you're reinforcing what you're saying. And if they complied, they get to survive. So, yeah, I just...
Yeah, it's essentially just about following through one way or the other.
It's a bit nitpicking. You know, like that point.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, but it's true about extortion having that flaw, is that, like, you're completely dependent on compliance to make any sort of a decent profit, which is why I don't like doing extortion.
Yeah, to be honest, ransom is probably the better way to go. If you're going to continue doing piracy in 318, ransom is the way to go, because you have control of the asset
Yeah, like we talked about like establishing control during we have looting, scooping, ransom, and extortion, right? Extortion is like performing extortion on a target, which means you have the least amount of control over the situation. The only control you have is your guns on the target, and pretty much, and that's it. And you'll shoot them if they don't answer you. With everything else, with ransom, scooping, and looting, you are able to exert even more control over the target and the prize that you're after. So, no, that's pretty much it.
No, it's not the same thing, Razorburn. Like, the idea that you're trying to change a mindset is not what you're trying to do with piracy. You're trying to achieve a goal of making credits. You're not trying to change their mind. If somebody doesn't want to pay, they're not going to pay. It doesn't matter what you do or say. The threat needs to be, legitimate enough that somebody would actually consider it a genuine enough threat to, I guess, overturn what their personal belief is in order to come out of the encounter, not as a winner, but not as a sore loser. And in a video game, people can hold on to their personal beliefs, after their character is killed. So there's no intent at all to teach a lesson in that way at all by the pirates. In fact, the pirates aren't there to teach a lesson at all. It's to fucking do piracy.
If your intent as a pirate is to teach people a lesson and to like show them something or to convince them of something, you're gonna fail miserably. Trying to change people's minds in that way is stupid, and you're not going to do it ever.
Yeah, like the process of extortion is a process. Like you go through it. Like, once again, why we encourage ransom over extortion is because you have control of the asset. And then, as part of the process, if they still turn around and say, no, we're not going to pay, then it's like, well, I've got control of your ship, so I can, try to extract value from it that way. But if your, intent as a pirate is to go out and, teach others how to, fucking deal with danger in the universe, like, you're not really going out to do piracy gameplay for, the right reasons or, as a genuine player pirate. You're just going out there to teach other people how to, handle pirates. Like, intent is actually quite important in this factor. Like, I'm saying that I'm being pedantic on this point, but it's actually one of those things where it's like, I teach people how to be pirates in Star Citizen. So this is actually a really important point to distinguish to me because, somebody's sitting here as a non-player pirate, turning around and, telling others, like, you kill people to teach them a lesson. No, you don't. You're following through with a threat. If they didn't want to pay, they were never going to. Simple as that. It's not about teaching a lesson. It's about making sure that you stick to your word and follow through the process.
And salvage, and a persistence that means that if they leave the game, the ship and cargo will still be there for the taking. So now, profit does not require compliance. In fact, I predict that very few pirates will bother with the whole extortion thing at all, except if it somehow makes them feel more honorable, since any acceptable extortion percentage is going to be far less than what they would be getting by going straight to the stealing everything right from the start. So some pirates might still go through the motions of demanding ransom, but they won't seriously expect you or even want you to take the offer. So the hit salvagers' 3-point business plan is 1. RMC is valuable. 2. Salvagers have RMC. 3. Knock out salvagers and take their RMC.
Yeah, that's literally
not complicated, but it's
yeah. Like
why is this any different?
Here.
This is no different to hitting a cargo hauler.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's focused on salvage here, but like the point that he made about, like the player is now completely absent of a pirate's profit. Essentially, it's like we don't have to depend on the player to make a profit as far as, making them give us the money. It's like we need them as far as them. Like, we need them
to
as far as
exist.
them purchasing the cargo. Yeah, we need the. Well, that's what I'm getting at, obviously. But like, the actual process of making money from them is completely void of their influence as soon as they're up in the air.
Yeah, but I don't understand what this point that he's now moving on to is. Like, we're just early on into it. But like, hit salvages plan. RMC is valuable. Salvages have RMC. Steal it. That's like fucking saying trade commodities is valuable. Cargo haulers have trade commodities. Steal it.
Hadanite is valuable. Rock miners have Hadanite. Steal it. I mean, yeah. It's a pretty, honestly, it's a foolproof plan. Seriously. I think this guy's onto something, Agents.
Fucking must be.
It's pirate. Now, the downside of this approach is that there are only 2 salvage ships, and so you have to build your team around one or the other. A team large enough to take out a reclaimer isn't going to make ends meet with just the 12 to 15 SCU of cargo in a vulture, and a team small enough to be profitably sharing just 12 to 15 SCU of loot among them isn't going to be big enough to defeat an entire crewed reclaimer. So, one or the other.
I beg to differ.
Where the fuck does he get this? Where the fuck is this data coming from?
Hey, anybody in chat want to tell the story of what I did to a fully crewed reclaimer? Anyone there that want to say so?
The reason why Dobbs is trying to get people to recall the story is because he didn't fucking record it.
Yeah, that's why I got a replay buffer now.
Yeah, the one that, I wrote a guide for Mongrel Squad on how to set up OBS, and the replay buffer is in there too. Like,
I just never bothered, but after that night, I was like, okay, yeah, I probably need it now. For context, I murdered a fully crewed reclaimer in under 15 seconds. They were all armed. There was 4 of them. I got inside the portside airlock, and they were all there. And they tried to shoot at me, and they were all dead in 15 seconds.
right.
And the other crew that was around me, I was like, there's 2 other ships there. I think 2 or 3 other ships there.
This is just watered down so much. I want to keep watching to see if he expands on this. But just looking at, oh my god, I'm just going to keep watching. Because I'm starting to
I
get
predict
angry.
that a crew designed to hit vultures will be 2 to 3 pirates in a ship like the Cutlass. Hit fast, disable, and then quickly grab the 12 to 15 crates and then hightail it out of there before any called for help arrives. A crew to hit reclaimers, though, will likely need to be 6 to 8 crew in 2 ships with substantial firepower, but also together to be able to handle the 180 plus SCU of a fully loaded reclaimer. Remember that the reclaimer is ridiculously inefficient ship to solo, so the presumption should be that anybody wanting to pirate a reclaimer will have to board and defeat 4 or more crew members who may be well armed, since a reclaimer could well afford to have a substantial armory in its inventory.
Oh, that's a good one.
Part of the problem with me watching this video is that I do this in game, fucking on the regular. So a lot of this is no shit Sherlock type stuff for me. And as Blake pointed out, this is orientated at a PvE crowd. That said, he's full of shit with a lot of this. And
what
this
could
is
you
another.
possibly mean by that, Agents?
Well, attacking a reclaimer is based more on whether or not the crew is aware of what the fuck is going on around them. You could do it with a crew of 3. It'd take you longer, but you could still do it.
Well, talking about like optimal sizes, though. Optimal amounts of members.
Well, you know, are we dealing with a reclaimer with escorts? Or are we dealing with just a reclaimer out in the middle of nowhere? How close are they to a rest stop? Are they fucking in the air in Halo? Are they on a moon? There's a whole bunch of additional variables that you need to take into account with the team size.
It depends on circumstance of the hit.
Like, at minimum, you would send 2 people to board that ship. And because of the crew being dispersed as much as they are, you could get away with taking out the majority of the crew with just 2 people. Most of the time, it's just one salvager sitting in the back, one guy sitting in the back moving boxes, because there's 2 fucking box chutes there, so they can move between the 2. Sometimes they'll keep the pilot in the chair, and sometimes they'll have the pilot operating one of the turrets, the salvaging turrets. You can salvage in a reclaimer with just 3 people. 4 is more optimal, but you know, once again, like, you don't need to, like, this is the problem with this mentality here. And I understand people are saying, you know, like, he's giving this out to a PvE crowd and all that sort of stuff. The problem is that he's also talking out of his ass with a lot of this stuff. Because there's factors that aren't being counted for here. Like, if you're dealing with a crew of 3 on that reclaimer, chances are you'll know that there's going to be 1 person in the back and 2 turrets are going, which means that nobody's watching the fucking radar.
The compositions that he's offering to are not optimal at all.
Yeah.
What is it? I forget what he said. There's like
back.
1 ship with like, yeah, whatever.
Can't scroll back.
Well, I'm sorry, agents.
Yeah, but Blake, it's different variations of competency that we're talking about here. Like, he's talking as though the crew is a lot more competent than what they actually are. They're also not taking into account, like, there's additional factors here. And if you boil it down and you go, oh yeah, it's just as simple, and you just be, you know, like, his point, they'll be very, you know, well armed. The reclaimer crew will be well armed and armored. And it's like, what, the fucking pirates are running in sperm suits and arc lights? Like, what the fuck?
Fucking railguns, dude. Give me fucking railguns.
The Space Ghost point is probably the crux of this, and one of the reasons why I'm going to be, like, heavily critical of this is, like, if you don't fucking do it, don't fucking comment on it like you fucking know what you're talking about. Because anybody can sit there and talk general shit. But it doesn't mean that you should be talking. Like, this is just, I'm just looking at this so far, and it's just pissing me off all the way through. I don't care that he's talking to a general PvE crowd. It's still piss. Like, if you're gonna fucking start throwing out, you know, numbers, at least have fucking data to back it. And provide evidence. It's one of the reasons why we fucking record and put out videos of our hits. One of the reasons why we did a lot of videos of our hits before we even put out our first bloody tutorials, to prove that, you know, we fucking know what we're on about. As opposed to what you see most content creators do, where they fucking sit there, do it for 5 minutes, and then bang out a video. And then go, yeah, I'm a fucking subject matter expert on this.
I say 2 ships rather than 1 larger one because it is unlikely to be feasible to fully transload those 180 plus crates from the reclaimer before help or interference arrives. So the pirate ships will need to take turns between transloading and protecting, a lot like Xeno threat missions. I predict that ships like the Constellation, Mercury Star Runner, and Corsair will be popular to use in teams wanting to hit reclaimers, although upsizing one of those to a Carrack would likely be popular because of the ability to have a Tier 2 medical bed available for the casualties.
Did you hear that,
That then takes us to the B a salvage a 3-point pirate business plan. 1. RMC is valuable. 2. Ships that have cargo also have hulls. 3. Let's take it all. Now, the pirate team for this type of gameplay will be the same 6 to 8 players as the prior example, plus 4 players in a reclaimer for a total of 10 to 12 player team. I say 1 reclaimer rather than a bunch of vultures because of efficiency, durability, and capacity.
Oh,
A pirate
my
team is not going to
God.
want to hang around long enough for vultures to finish the job. And this is something that you may not have
Hold on,
thought
pause
about.
it.
I'm going to take a stand.
Holy shit, dude. That. Oh my God, man.
I'm just zoning
he's-
out. Just zoning
that has
out.
to be the most boneheaded composition I've ever heard in my life. Holy shit, man. I can't even like. And it's like, where's he coming? I really want to know where he's coming up with this stuff too. Who's he talking to, if anybody, to get these ideas from? Like seriously, or is he
Like,
just,
you could
or is
sit
he
there
just
and come
pawning
up
it
with
off
these
like
ideas.
as his own original thought?
Like, you could sit there and come up with ideas for these compositions and then, you know, go out and test. But he's not fucking doing that. Like, he's literally going, yeah, I think it's going to be this, and I think it's going to be that. It's like,
Oh
well,
God.
you know, like, fucking sure.
It was 6 to 8. It was 6 to 8 players on 2 ships. The inefficiency and poor allocation of resources based only on that is astounding to me.
Well, that's the thing, is like the inexperience is now coming out there. He's saying, you know, 6 to 8 people on 2 ships, and it's like, well, you know, you go to do that and reinforcements do show up and they kick the shit out of the 2 ships that you're there in. And now, you know, 4 of you guys may have survived. What's going to happen? Well, you got to wait for the other guys to try and come back. If you're in Comaray range and they had crime stats, they're in fucking prison. And you still got to fight off that crew. Still got to fight off the reinforcements. Like, there's a level of experience here that is quite obvious to those who know. But, you know, like, fucking, it's a problem on the internet. You see it all the time. Fucking people who have no real experience in doing something just fucking make a tutorial, or they explain something as though it's fact. And he can sit there and keep saying, yeah, you know, these are my best guesses and all that. Well, you know, your best guess still is better than somebody who knows fucking nothing or doesn't think about this sort of thing, and then they start taking it as gospel.
Yeah, it's literally eggs, meat, basket. Here's the thing, man. Like, if you put all of your resources and all of your people on your team into minimal ships, or putting them all into a single ship, like, eventually, like, if you're out there doing piracy or whatever criminal activity, you're gonna end up getting crime stats, and then all it takes is one person with an eclipse to show up and just fucking torp you into oblivion, and now all of a sudden all of you are in jail.
They got a nice payout.
They get a really nice payout too. It's fucking, it's. And here's the thing, man. Like, using larger multi-crew ships, okay, and fully manning those ships, it certainly has merit. I'm not trying to argue that it's not, but it's fully dependent on the amount of resources that you have available to you, and the circumstances around, and the intent around what you're doing. With the numbers that he's suggesting, like, you can probably get away with 1 multi-crew ship, but not 2 or 3 that he's suggesting. That's just silly. That is really silly. And I didn't even see a QED in there. Did you? Anybody? Did anybody see a QED in any of those suggestions that he did for any of these prior Like, seriously, I want to know.
Apparently not. Well, he's not talking about a specific, you know, like, composition. He's being very broad and general. But that's the thing, though. It's like,
yeah, but like, that doesn't help. That doesn't help, though. It's like,
I know.
Because you'll have these broad strokes, and people will look at it and be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But as soon as they get down to details and intricacies, like, they don't know what the fuck to do. And they're gonna be like, Ray, please, what do you mean by this? And what about this? And he's probably not gonna have those answers.
Oh, just make something up.
I don't know, man.
And say that 15 is the maximum size you want a pirate team to be in 3.18 under normal circumstances. Why? Because at 15, the pirate team is 10% of the maximum shard population, and every person on the pirate team is one less possible target. The larger your pirate team, the fewer your possibilities. That's why I'm recommending 15 tops. And another possibility you might be considering is why not just skip the cargo and only take the salvage. That way you would only need one ship besides the reclaimer and a total team of about 8 to 10. The 4 to 6 players stay on the warship would then take out the target and protect the reclaimer during the salvaging phase. Well, that would work, but there's no revenue advantage over just being a legit salvager. The only advantage of being a pirate salvager over a legit salvager is also being able to loot the cargo as well as salvage the hull. So the salvage-only pirate team is possible, but also kind of pointless. Now for an update on our giveaway. We have 2 ship giveaways going on right now and 1 skill contest.
All right, that's enough. Chat, I want to look at you for reasoning and a palate cleanse. Help me out, chat. Give me some good stuff. It's all legitimate salvage. Yeah, true. That's based. Actually based. Ray's Guide to Piracy. Yeah, guys. These guys are your one-stop shop for piracy gameplay, 100%. Like, we should stop making our MPA series, Agent. We should let this guy do it. This guy knows what he's talking about.
I don't know what to say anymore. I feel like I've already said enough. This
Do
is
any pirates own a Carrack? Yeah. Yeah, lots of players own Carracks, yeah, and they happen to do piracy. Yeah, but we've used Carracks for piracy before, like a long time ago. But if we use Carracks now, they're basically just a meme. It's not practical at all. It's just funny to use them sometimes.
Thing is that you could use a Carrack for doing piracy, but any sort of multi-crew ship that you bring, you have to have fighters with it. Like the turrets can only do so much. It's
like
just one of those things.
Multi-crew ships. All you have to do is just stay out of weapons range of those turrets, and then you just fucking pummel it until it blows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's enough of you, like if you swarm it with enough fighters, you'll overwhelm the turret gunners. I bet a lot of people don't know this, but you can, damage the guns. You can shoot the guns off the turrets. And then those turrets are fucking useless.
Because that's Star Citizen for you guys. So immersive, so detailed. Millimeter detail, Agents.
Video idea. Uses composition with improvements. We already have our own.
Actually,
our composition is the improvement.
Yeah, that's true. No, like, I want to do his composition without the improvements, just to show how silly it is.
Here's the thing. If you... QED is an essential bit of kit purely if you're attacking somebody from a position where they are aware that you're there. So you need that asset to stop them from running away. If they have no fucking idea that you're coming, you don't need QED. Because it's a legit ambush, like when you go to hit Starfarers, for example, you really don't want to use a QED for that. You don't need it. The idea is to infiltrate your guys and get on board the ship stealthily, and then, conduct the boarding actions then. The reason why you need QED...
Stealth gameplay?
Yeah. Yeah, Star Citizen has it.
What's that, dude? I have no idea.
QED is an asset that you need to prevent the target from getting away until you're able to subdue it. After which point, you don't really need it anymore. Now, it kind of becomes just this thing that's there. And, it's one of the reasons why when we're using our QED, we try and get as much out of it as possible. So one of the tactics that you'll use is, you may keep the snare up if you know that there's a crew on board and that there's a high potential that they got reinforcements coming. Like if they're from a larger org and that you've checked the server list and you see that there's a whole bunch of org mates from that same org on the server, you'll keep your mantis snare up so that when they jump to them, they get pulled out 20 kilometers away instead of the 10. And the mantis procs, hostile, and everybody knows. There's somebody coming, even though you haven't picked them up on passive radar yet. The Cutlass Blue is probably one of the best pirate ships in the game, purely because of the versatility that it offers alongside QED. Like, it's got firepower out the fucking ass. You can carry a small amount of cargo, you can fucking overfill it. I know our guys have.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Can carry troops.
Supremacy, guys.
Can carry weapons, like it brings a lot to the table for a small piracy crew. But realistically, QED is an asset required when you're attacking targets that know that you're coming or know that you're there. That's when you need QED. If you're doing a stealth hit and they have no fucking idea that you're there, you don't need QED. Like turret monster. A turret monster is you sneak onto somebody's ship, hide in the turret, wait until they come back on board, and then cap them in the back of the head.
When it comes to stuff like that, QED it's a contingency. Like if you are doing a stealth hit, for example, and if you fuck up and the target gets spooked, that QED is your contingency.
Like, we've looked into whether or not we could actually soft death ships without QED. The problem that we've got is that the quantum drives in game can spool up and calibrate fast enough that you can escape if you know what you're doing. Like the time that it takes to actually pounce on the target, if you're calm enough and you see it coming, you can spool your quantum drive, calibrate, and jump before somebody's managed to get your shields down. The amount of people that you need firing at the ship, you're actually risking destroying it before you'll soft death it as well. So it's not impossible, it's just not the best way of going about doing business. So QED is an insurance policy for pirates, and that's why you bring it. Until they bring master modes in, and then what happens is, because all the fighters can't escape away from the turrets of all the multi-crew ships fast enough, they just get fucking clapped by turret gunners.
Oh yeah, dude, they'll get fucking chewed out by turret gunners. It's gonna be
CRG will forget to retune turrets until they start noticing that players are getting smashed.
It's gonna be a fucking massacre. Oh my god. Any fucking multi-crew ship is just gonna be a fucking fortress.
Yeah. To be honest though, I hope that they keep it like that. Because
true, yeah.
what happens there is that the team has to coordinate better. And they have to come up with tactics to overcome, the issue. Coordinate their, approaches, try and pull the turret's attention to one side so that you can attack from the other. Like, it starts building a bigger picture for tactical gameplay amongst a group. It becomes a much more engaging experience for both sides.
Yeah, turrets right now are way too easy to avoid. Way too easy.
That's purely because of speeds.
Yeah, that's it. If I get shot at, if I could burn out at fucking Mach 5 the moment my shields go down, it's fucking, yeah. Silly. It's just silly.
Alright,
it's silly, Agens. Needs more strength.
I need more strength after this one. we're gonna move on from this one. The next one, the Spectrum post.
Oh god, we're back on Spectrum. Well, at least I don't have to listen to bullshit. I can just read it.
So the next one is on Spectrum. It's by he does YouTube as well, but he's mainly on Twitch. You might know him, Captain Burks.
Oh, it's this one, Captain Burks, my man, dude, my man. We like Captain Burks, guys. Hey, everyone in chat, we like him.
So it's Captain Burks here, and he's talking about 318, soft death, boarding, and piracy. The holy trinity of 318, really.
Basically, yeah. That's literally all this patch is about. Yeah. Nothing else, guys.
He's just Burks now. He's no longer a captain. Okay. Well, he's falsely advertising himself then.
He was deposed.
All right. Let's get straight into this. So, with 318, in my opinion, being the biggest patch ever, yes, soft death have completely changed the game as we know it. With a few small changes, I believe this could be an incredible special feature that changes the game forever. Keep in mind, I do realize soft death is not a final destination for physicalized damage, but until we get there, these changes will help create epic gameplay. Alright, soft death. The soft death feature paired with PES is probably the most impactful feature for combat and gameplay we've ever added to the game. But the fact you could accidentally hard death a ship is wild to me. Putting a ship from full health to soft death should be an intentional decision, so should soft death to hard death. This generates an insane amount of gameplay, such as crash landing on low grav moons, high gravity results in death most likely, to getting to escape pods / abandoned ship, 3 rescue beacons calling for backup, 4 boarding, 5 capturing bounties alive, 6 pirating, and 7 railgunning pirates trying to take your stuff.
No, I'm the one with the railgun.
However, none of this happens with the current values.
Current values, agents.
What about the
current values?
He actually says I purpose, but I'm pretty sure he meant I propose. I propose an invulnerability period for 5 seconds after the ship's soft deaths like we have for down states, and health should be increased by 5 times easily, maybe even more. Once your target is soft death, they are sitting ducks. So a few more volleys if your goal is hard death isn't the end of the world. Soft death should be the final destination for a lot of ships. Hard death should be intentional and come with consequences.
Can we stop there? I wanna touch on this. I'm glad he prefaced this saying that he knows that soft death is not the final outcome, and like we're still on the route with like physicalized damage, physicalized components, armor, and all that stuff that's going to enable more deliberate and dynamic or intentional means of putting a ship in soft death, basically like disabling it instead of like outright blowing it up. However, his suggestions that he's putting forward, while they may have merit, I really don't think it's going to happen I don't think it's going to happen in favor of just CIG waiting to completely replace this with what's intentional, right? Because while it may have merit, I really don't think it's going to happen. Well, because what is it with the invulnerability period?
Yeah, like I want to step this back a little bit more to his points. You know, like crash landing on low grav moons. Well, that's because the damage threshold between soft death and hard death is actually quite small. Getting to escape pods / abandoned ship, really that's gated behind whether or not you continue getting attacked, not whether or not you soft death between hard death. Rescue beacons calling for backup, once again, based on the attack. Boarding, that's completely separate. Capturing bounties alive, that's pretty much the same as boarding. Pirating, which is already a thing. and then railgunning pirates trying to take your stuff. Like, those last 4 points are more based on whether or not the team has a trigger discipline to stop fucking firing after you notice the ship soft deaths.
Yeah. Because it's like, I've seen a lot of people, like, just dump their entire magazine into the ship, and essentially, it's like the rate of fire either is too much to where way too many bullets are going down range. So, like, even with your reaction time, by the time the ship gets put in soft death, let's say you let go of the trigger in time, those bullets that are still in the air and those rounds that are still in the air will eventually hit the ship and push it to hard death, because like you said, the threshold is very small. Now, like, the way you get around that is, you know, use smaller ships with smaller ordnance, and you'd have more trigger discipline. Like, there's a reason why we've not used Inferno so much, is because of the high DPS and its rate of fire. So even if you do have that sort of reaction time and the ship gets bricked, and you're like, okay, I need to stop shooting now, you let go of the trigger, and those rounds are still in the air, and by the time they hit the ship, it'll be fucking put in hard death. So the point being made about trigger discipline is valid. It's like, you can certainly consistently put a ship in hard death, or not hard death, soft death, and keep it there until you want to, you know, completely blow it up. But the point that he made about putting a ship in soft death should be a little bit more deliberate, and the actions that you need to do to achieve that should be different than if you wanted to just outright blow it up. Because right now it's the same. Yeah. And you just keep following through with the damage output until it's completely blown up. Whereas I think it should be a little bit more nuanced, and it should be a little bit more difficult to disable the ship, right? It needs to be more deliberate. A choice needs to be made there.
Yeah, like the skill component as opposed to what we've got now. But like, you know, Chris Roberts pretty much came up to Chad McKinney and went, hey, this would be a really cool thing. It'd be really cool if you could do this. Which is like his way of saying, do it. No, but here's the thing though. It's like, putting a ship from full health to soft death should be an intentional decision. It is. It comes down to trigger discipline. Like, it started off, CIG's intent with it started off that it was supposed to be random. It's not. It's not anymore. You hit a threshold where soft death happens. The problem is that the threshold between soft death and hard death is quite narrow. So you need to make sure that you're disciplined with the fire that you're applying, keeping in mind that you do have to deal with the fact that if they have initiated self-destruct, you are on an unknown timer. Now, what a lot of this, like this part about soft death, the only real issue that I see out of this, like, one, it's a skill issue with fucking trigger discipline. Like, your team needs to be more disciplined and fucking, you know, not bloody apes that just fucking pour fire into the ship. That really comes down to whoever's in charge of the team delegating, okay, you three are firing at the ship, and somebody checking the health of the ship over and over again, and then going, all right, fucking, we're getting closer to, you know, it's getting pretty damaged now, guys. Let's get only two of you firing.
Yeah, it's literally all it comes down to. It's like, you really, it's like even three people, depending on the ship, is stretching it. Like, you really only, like, if you have a team of like 6 to 7 ships in your comp, for example, and you pick one person or 2 people to apply damage to the ship to brick it, and that's it. That is all you need. You do not need every single person shooting at that ship, because the more DPS and the more damage that you're applying to the ship will increase the potential that the ship just completely gets fucked and blows up the moment soft death happens. Regardless if every single one of those people have trigger discipline and like they're able to stop as soon as it's put in soft death, it doesn't matter. Because it won't, it'll just blow up. Which is why you need to really limit the amount of people that are shooting at it. Or like Agent suggested, start with a lot of people and then gradually reel it
Dial
in
it back.
so you can be more delicate when you're applying damage. Like, we tested this. We've got it down to a formula now.
So,
but this isn't to rag on him, but like, you know, it is deliberate.
The skill issue. That's what it is. Fucking stop letting the apes just keep punching the fucking target. It's as simple as that. Fucking control you. Get your apes under control. Like, crash landing on low grav moons, that's a really cool thing. Getting to the escape pods and abandoning ship. Yeah, that's, you know, that these issues there stem from the problem that the threshold between soft death and hard death is quite narrow. But to mitigate that, if you want to board the ship, because, you know, like boarding the ship, capturing bounties alive, you know, pirating, which is boarding the ship, you know, or railgunning pirates, getting to fucking escape, like from 4 onwards is really based on the attacking team having the discipline so that they can follow through with their intent. Actually, 4, 5, and 6 are that. 7 is going back to the crew wanting to do something. And fucking his point about none of this happens with the current values, trust me, fucking piracy has been happening in 3.18 a shit ton. It's been happening a lot. Fucking, once again, it's a skill issue of controlling your fire. That's it.
I do, like, don't get me wrong, like, I do definitely agree that the differences between soft death and hard death need to be more deliberate. And the methods that you use to achieve each should be different. And one should be a lot harder than the other.
Like, what I don't like about this idea, and I don't, is that we're adding extra work for something that's going to be temporary for the sake of gameplay.
Yeah, that's the point that I made at the beginning. Like,
yeah,
I really
prefer
don't think CIG is gonna.
Yeah, I would prefer CIG focusing on fucking making physicalized armor, physicalizing the components, and making, you know, like, essentially soft death in a ship a lot more nuanced.
Yeah, like, and it's not to say that, like, CIG can't churn out, like, you know, micro buffs or nerfs to certain features, because they can, and they have done it in the past. But when it comes to this specifically, like, I feel like, I don't know. I don't think the juice of getting this extra, like, invulnerability period, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze when there's literally a method to just there's a way that you can, you know, prevent hard death now. And it's just trigger discipline, and that's it. His whole suggestion here is mitigated simply by trigger discipline, and that's it.
And Botsu, your point about a third party showing up, Easy Tunes is correct. Like, CIG doesn't need to compensate for that. Your team does. The third party shows up, you fucking deal with it. Like, that's how emergent gameplay works. You don't keep pestering the fucking developers to give, you know, fucking crutches to rely on so that you get that little, you know, bit of extra content out of it. Like, fucking, if a third party shows up, chances are you're fucked up anyway. But in, you know, the case of a piracy hit, for example, it's going to be you and the, you know, target. The third party shows up. They're either trying to stop you from pirating the target, in which case, you know, they may want to destroy the ship, or they may not. Or it's another pirate crew, in which case they don't want to destroy the target because they also want the cargo. And if they see that you've stopped the target anyway, then they're going to try and preserve it too. So they're only going to attack the pirates.
But
and then focus on
90%
the
of
third
players
party.
don't have trigger discipline, Dobbs. 90% of players don't have trigger discipline. Well, that's a them problem. That's not a development problem. like, I mean, it's like you have a way to do it, and if you can't do it, then you can't do it.
Like, I'll put it to you this way. It's not entirely on CIG to compensate for players not playing the game the way that CIG's yeah. If CIG's designed it to do, to work a certain way, and the players just keep fucking being apes and just bashing on it over and over again, the only reason why CIG would backtrack that is that their player base is too stupid to fucking work out a solution to the problem. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, but shooting a ship and then stopping at a certain point so that it doesn't cross the threshold isn't beyond the realm of 90% of the player base. And that if they can't be fucked to do that or work that out, then it's still not on CIG, that's them. Like, that is a flat out skill issue. I'm going to tell you all now, Piracy got made stupid easy coming 3.18. They have lowered the bar to Piracy so much. 3.18 was soft death.
Disabling ships, not piracy.
Purely because of disabling ships. Yeah, like, the disabling of ships has been made so stupidly easy now. Like, I'm concerned that we're going to get bored because of how easy they've made it. I understand that there needs to be, like a barrier of entry, and that, this is essentially just gotten thrown in, but fuck, man. Like, when I see this, I'm kind of just like, really? This is easy. This is fucking easy mode, and you're asking for an invulnerability period? Come on.
Yeah. Let's go back. Let's go back to when we have to use EMP bursting, popping off EMPs all at once to disable a ship for 73 seconds. Let's go back to that. Let's see what people think about it in terms of like skill issues and shit. Yeah, because remember when we did that? And then Piracy was so scarce. Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why we Pepperidge Farm remembers. I wonder why we were the only ones doing that.
Well, it's not a skill issue at that point. It really comes down to juice being worth the squeeze, because I can guarantee you that if players felt like the outcome was worth the effort, that they would go through it. But the majority don't. Like, fucking this here, soft death, just, like, barrier of entry to Piracy became stupid low. That's what I'm saying. I would like to see the nuances coming, but, we just gotta wait. It's nothing different to any other fucking patch for when it comes to Piracy. I'm just grateful that we can remove the cargo from the ship and sell it ourselves. That's what I would look forward to the most.
Yep, that's a W. That's a W.
Alright, let's continue. It's not a long post. Hard death. With 3.18 looking like the biggest Piracy patch we've ever had, I think it's important to look at risk versus reward. Pirates should have to do the hard thing and board ships if they want cargo, 100%. The fact you can hard death a ship and get up to 90% of the cargo is way too high. As it stands, there's no reason for a pirate to board you, creating almost no risk for them. I believe if you hard death a ship, you should walk away with max 10 to 15% of the cargo. Stolen cargo for pirates should be a reward for those who risk boarding to acquire the cargo. If the trader has a railgun and an FS9 waiting for him, then that's something that they're going to have to be ready for. Likewise, the reason why pirate bounty hunter would know what they're doing would never distort a trader / bounty hunter. Likewise, the reason why pirate or bounty hunter who know what they're doing would never distort trader / bounty target is because they could self-destruct without the pirate / bounty hunter ever knowing. My final idea is that your IR should skyrocket when activating self-destruct or self-destructing. Similar to EM skyrocketing when charging quantum travel, and a fully disabled ship should not be able to self-destruct. This again extends fun gameplay, which should always be the goal. Thanks, amazing work CIG, and I hope to see you all in the verse. Right, there's a bit to process there.
So breaking it down into just bullet points here, Burks is saying that the percentage of cargo, or the max percentage of cargo that you would get from just outright blowing up the ship, should be a lot lower, or the average should be a lot lower as well, incentivizing boarding actions. And not only that, self-destruct is a griefing tool, and it needs to be overhauled and reworked in a way where it is not option number one when encountering any sort of hostile threat.
The scanner now shows if self-destruct is on, one of the good changes. I have to double check that. That'll be good to know if they did. Retroximus. Maybe CIG should simply remove piracy. 100% Retroximus, man. Just fuck it off. You don't need it.
Even if the scanner shows self-destruct is on, it doesn't really do anything, because even at that point, there's still no way to counter it, other than putting the ship in soft death, for example. Like, that's really it. Because we'd already be doing that anyway. So it's like, it doesn't really add much, or it doesn't really make much of a difference.
So there's a bit more to this issue that Burks is bringing up. Like, the fact that you can hard death a ship and get up to 90% of the cargo is way too high. I don't think I've ever seen a cargo ship drop 90% of its cargo after being destroyed. Not yet.
It's an edge case, Agents. That's an extreme case.
But that's the problem, is that you don't make changes based on the edge cases. You do it based on the common problems. So, like, you could get up to 90%, but as COG's pointed out, it's between 40 and 50%, which is still a lot.
On
like,
average.
I'm okay with, you know, like, hard death being 10 to 15% of the cargo. As it stands, there's no reason for a pirate to board you. Like, really, like, it's up to the pirate if they want to do it or not. They may not want to go through the whole effort of doing that and still be okay with scooping. So, form of piracy.
Also, no reason for a pirate to board you. I like to present reason fun.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that, Agents? I mean, it's fun.
It's like fucking, it's some of the best gameplay that you will engage in this game.
I can't tell you how many players' ships I've boarded and they have zero cargo, but I board them because it's fun. It's just fun.
But here's the thing, like, creating almost no risk for them. Risk in a piracy attack comes from the target. So if that target's by themselves with no friends on their turrets or escorts following them around, or even just a QRF somewhere that's going to come and reinforce them, no shit, it's no risk. Like, you know, you could do the boarding action, the only risk is a person that's on board. Yeah, fucking the irony of people, you know, who keep saying piracy has no risk. Well, technically the risk that we have when it comes to doing piracy comes from you. So if you're by yourself in a sperm suit with no weapons, then yeah, no shit, it has no risk. Fucking, you didn't come prepared. We can't help that. That's on you. I agree with that. Hard death in a ship should be less. 10 to 15, maybe. The other side of it is, though, and this is the other thing, like, the stolen cargo for pirates should be a reward for those who risk boarding to acquire the cargo. 100%. Problem with this, though, is that stolen cargo, or just the cargo in general, you've got to move it. You've got to load it onto a ship, and then you got to move it somewhere. As we're finding out, the piracy hit is the quickest part. You know, the longest part now is becoming the transferring of the cargo and then finding somewhere to sell it.
Yeah, like for instance, everyone, like all the industrialists are waiting for like, or they're concerned about, oh my god, manual loading, it's going to be such a pain when that comes out. Oh my god, when are we going to get, we better get NPCs to help us with the manual loading. And meanwhile, all the pirates that take all the cargo from your ship, they're already doing that. So yeah, if you want to know how manual loading is going, why don't you ask any sort of pirate crew that does it already, fucking playing the game 6 months ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, like I can already tell you now, like if fucking cargo haulers are getting upset over the thought of having to do manual loading, wait until they actually have to do it, because it is fucking painful.
Hey, joke's on you, Agens. I think you and I could both agree that we've been waiting to do this for a very long time, and I think, despite the pain, it's great and we love it.
Hey, you know, I just think of, you know, the fact that we're completing the gameplay in the process. You know, that's the reward.
Yeah, the
really.
loop is now complete, because we've been doing piracy all the way up until the actual selling of it, which we couldn't do up until this patch, with the exception of obviously rock miners and extortion and obviously bullshit. But like being able to get on board somebody's ship, steal all of their cargo, like all 696 SCU of a fucking C2, for example, and sell it afterwards. Oh, dude, that's the complete loop, dude. That's it.
Like, you know, it's just part of the gameplay for us, you know, having to go through that, but we are learning the pain point, you know, of having to do that manual cargo transfer. For us, we're always gonna have to do it. Unless there's bloody, you know, NPCs or CIG introduces a drone that will move it for us. Which they might. But for now, it's fucking us. We're the ones that are gonna do it. And when I first started doing piracy in Star Citizen, fucking we didn't even have cargo to bloody steal. You just stole ships and then made a fucking graveyard at the ICC probe. And then when we did get cargo to steal, you had to blow up the ship, and you didn't have no fancy fucking tractor beam. You picked it up by hand and you walked it over to the ship.
Yeah,
and if the patch was good enough, you could throw the box. Otherwise, if the patch was fucking jank, you couldn't throw the box, so you had to walk it. And all you casuals getting into piracy now, fucking with your fancy tractor beams and 1 SCU boxes.
Agents, can we take a detour and go watch that tedious video that you made?
Oh god.
Can we
You got a link to it?
Yeah, I can find it. Just to show the history of what box moving is, right? And for anybody that will turn to me and say, oh my god, guys, fucking box moving is going to take so long. We have so much cargo to move, and we have to do all of these things to make a profit with manual loading of cargo. And then if they say that to me, I'm just going to turn around and send them this video.
Metroximus, I'm actually working on a hit from 317, working on a video for it. I was hoping to actually get it out after the stream, but it's taking a bit longer. But yeah, like, we're periodically going to be uploading videos. Would prefer to be focusing on 318 though. You sent me the link. I'm on the wrong thing. Sure I'm on the correct window here.
Just to be clear, we posted this video July 31st, 2020.
This is on my personal YouTube channel, by the way. Yeah, posted 2 years ago. Alright, let's watch Tedious. I'm gonna turn the music off. Let's go over here.
So when we first started off with the concept, we thought that we'd only have the mining laser, And in order to pick up the crystals, you would just get out of the vehicle and just pick them up, or you'd have a friend pick them up and then you take them around to the back and then put them in the back. The problem with that was when we increased the size of the FPS mining rocks, we also increased the number of crystals that would spawn from the rock, and it became very tedious to have to pick all of those up. And it became very tedious to have to pick all of those up. Very tedious to have to pick all of those up. Very tedious.
Oh man.
Remember pre-tractor beams?
2
And mind you, like, this
hours
wasn't even a
later.
lot. Like, look inside that ship. That wasn't even a lot. I remember.
No. And then we fucking 30k. I remember that hit.
Very tedious to have to pick all of those up.
God, dude. It's like literally, it's so bad. It was so bad back then, and people are gonna turn around and talk to me. It's like, oh my god, moving cargo today is so fucking tedious. It's so monotonous. I don't want to do it, guys. Like, bruh.
You're like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck off. Being able to throw again? Yeah, throwing's broken anyway. It works sometimes and other times it doesn't. Like, I want to finish this post off. So the tedious nature of fucking, you know, piracy gameplay is really starting to come out now, but it's kind of part of the process that we have to go through, and it can also be considered a check and balance to make sure that, you know, pirate crews aren't going around and fucking just, you know, doing the old Mongol horde and just fucking out all the haulers, you know, all the traders, all the miners. But I'll tell you now, there's ways of getting around that. You know, and once again, why I don't buy into this whole notion of, you know, people sitting there going, oh, if you just go around blowing ships up, you're not a pirate. It's like, mate, you fucking don't know what's going on. You know, like a well-organized piracy fucking organization will be just making bank hand over fist. But they need to be organized correctly. They need the right teams and the right assets. But when you bring it all together, beautiful thing.
Also, he also made a comment about self-destruct by the end. It's like, yeah. Yeah. 'Cause here's the thing, like, before 318, right, distortion damage and EMPs were our only means to stop and aboard ships, okay? And the counter to us doing that was, and still is, self-destruct. And the problem with that is, there is no way for us to counter that other than soft death now, which is a problem because it pigeonholes us and other pirates into doing that single way of disabling ships, when that shouldn't be a thing, because there should be options to disable and board ships. And let's say you have these two options, and I've said this before on stream like many times, but since we're on this topic again, I'll just say it. Say you have these two options, with either putting the ship in soft death through just sheer lethal damage, or you take the time to distort it until it stops and you board it, okay? Distortion damage, or not even distortion damage, self-destruct shouldn't be able to be initiated when the ship is off. That's just, you know, basic. And not only that, self-destruct, the process of self-destructing your ship, it should be much more of an active process than simply hitting the button. right? And I understand the necessity of having self-destruct in the game. Like, for instance, if you encountered a bug with your ship, or if your game or your controls are not responding or whatever, and you need to get out of the situation, then self-destruct enables you to circumvent bugs or game-breaking issues on your game. But the thing of it is, you also have other ways of removing yourself from that situation. You can get out the chair and you can backspace, you can exit the menu, you can quit the game entirely, etc. It's not like self-destruct is the only way players can get out of a situation, right? And it should be an active process. Like, if you want to self-destruct your ship, you should get up out of your chair, you should, I don't know, fucking cut some wires or go to your components and mess around with those physically and do a whole bunch of other things.
Just start pissing on the power plant so that it short circuits. Starts
Yeah, like anything to make it an active process around the ship would be great, because not only does it extend the process for long enough so where people can counter it, it's like pirates and people boarding your ship can counter that actively. Like, if you go to the power plant, hit a few buttons, people can go back to that power plant and turn them off. You know, like it provides more nuance and more emergent gameplay for that boarding experience, right? And then, even if, and this is all like, you know, hopes and dreams for when they fucking finally decide to overhaul the way self-destruct works, but it gives us options on how we want to go about a piracy hit, or even any sort of boarding action, for example. Like, for instance, there's pros and cons to doing each. The benefits of putting a ship in soft death is that you can do it extremely quickly. Like, the moment you start shooting at that ship, you can put that ship in soft death within a minute or less. It's extremely quick if your DPS is consistent. Yeah, it's extremely consistent. And once that ship has been put in soft death, it's not moving, it's not going anywhere. It's really like, that's it. Where the drawback of it is that where as soon as you brick that ship, you are set in place and you cannot move anywhere. And you are subject, if you hit the ship in comrade range, you are subject to NPC security showing up, you're subject to the owner of that ship coming back to cause trouble, you're subject to all the other reinforcements coming back to cause trouble, and you do that at your own discretion, knowing that you're going to have to deal with that. Now, the use of distortion damage and EMPs is a little bit different, where the benefit of using distortion damage to disable the ship and board it is, once you board it, the ship is not completely bricked, and you'll be able to move the ship anywhere to do your logistics. So, like, let's say, for instance, that you've catch the ship within comrade range, like above an outpost on Ariel, for example. You disable the ship, you board it, you capture it. It's like, okay, now we need to take the ship out of comrade range so we don't have to deal with bounty hunters, security, the owner of the ship, etc. Brings it out to dead space, and then you're basically good to go. Now, the drawback of using distortion damage is that the process of stopping and capturing the ship is a lot longer. The difference between how long it takes to disable versus with soft death and distortion is extreme. Whereas Agent said it takes seconds to soft kill a ship. For distortion damage, it takes 10 to 15 minutes for that ship to be shut off and slowed to a stop for it to be boarded. But yeah, go ahead.
But there's also like the skill factor as well. You know, like being able to build up the distortion damage, you know, correctly and maintain it and not let it drop, and keep applying distortion damage, you know, as the ship is when the ship does get disabled. In 318, it's down for 5 minutes across the board. Doesn't matter what fucking power plant you're dealing with, it's down for 5 minutes. You know, for 317, it's down for, you know, X amount of seconds depending on the power plant. And your EMPs need to know, you know, like roughly how much distortion damage they need to apply to just disable that component. And then making sure that everybody's coordinating together and, you know, firing at the same time, making sure that they're all not too close to each other so they don't end up just fucking disabling each other, or, you know, one of the EMPs getting their generator bloody bugged and not working anymore. There's a level of skill that starts being more involved when you're using distortion damage. Like, I get, like, everybody's, you know, the points that everybody's bringing up with regards to fucking using distortion damage and, you know, essentially expanding the toolbox of what you can use to disable a ship, because Soft death is just a method of disabling a ship. Distortion damage is just a method of disabling a ship. Being able to expand that toolbox helps us out a lot. However, you know, like CIG is very focused on trying to, you know, like push this particular patch out as long as it's taking. Like self-destruct needs a huge overhaul. It just needs a huge overhaul for it. And to be honest, like I've suggested this idea as well. Like I was years ago, I was saying like the IR should be skyrocketing when we activate self-destruct. You know, like there should be visual warnings. There should be, you know, like notices being put out to all ships around. Hey, self-destruct has just been activated on this, you know, ship right here. Get the fuck away from it. You know, the ship, on board the ship, you know, there should be lights and sirens going off, and, you know, like, lights guiding people. Yeah, audio and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, like, CIG just hasn't looked at self-destruct in that sort of way. That's kind of where we're at. Like, the main issue here is that this will happen eventually. We'll get this. Like, CIG wants this stuff too. They want it to be more nuanced. That said, though, like I am interested in what I think it was Barrick said with regards to self-destruct showing up on scans. So when you scan a ship, it shows that it's in a self-destruct state. Fuck, if that's that's cool.
Look in the public server general chat, agents.
A screenshot of it?
Yeah, apparently there's a screen. Yeah, there is a screenshot of it right here. I can see it.
General chat.
His account says it was from a few patches ago. Oh, maybe we can see in the. Oh no, this is This is a screenshot from 3.18. If you look at the display info.
So let's bring this up on stream. I'm interested in this. If you don't mind, well, you put it on the public server, so yeah. Oh, look at that. Fuck. Look at that. And zoom in on that shit. Self-destruct initialized. Doesn't really help us. Like
it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't help. There. Now that we, like, cool, we know that it's there. You still don't really have a way to counter it, apart from soft death. It's like, but the thing is, if we catch a target, we're already doing that anyway.
Yeah. I would say, like, I'm glad that CIG's done it. Like, you know, thank you for sharing that, there, Barrick. But, you know, like, unless you're on board that ship to jump in that pilot's chair, it doesn't matter. Like, we can't stop it other than we soft death that ship. Handy, though, to know. Like, fuck, how long ago did that happen? Where are we?
Look at display info. It says 3.18 PTU.
Okay, so patch version is...
That's the build number 283465551.
Need to look at the patch notes to work that one out. Yeah, fuck. That one slipped by. That one slipped by us. Nice work.
Well, it's only because scans have been so fucked, right? And you can't really get any substantial information unless you're like within 1,000 meters. So like when dealing with targets, it's like it's kind of hard to see unless you're that close.
Yeah. Well, the other side as well is like I didn't fucking think of it. I'm just like, yeah, self-destruct's a thing. Fucking, you know, like not gonna check scans, but that's cool.
Well, the same thing too. It's like we've not been worried about self-destruct at all since like soft death has just been the go-to. So it's like self-destruct hasn't even been at the forefront of our minds. It's like it's just been like it's been an afterthought until it's addressed.
26th of January. Alright. I'm going to tell you guys now though, we're still going to be soft deathing ships. Don't even worry about distortion damage still. Because you'll go through all that effort to disable the ship using distortion damage, and then they'll just initiate self-destruct. And then it's like, well, fucking soft death.
Heck.
That's the way it is. Brick them all. Exactly, Space Dude. 100%.
Brick them all. Brick Squad.
But yeah, like.
Uh-oh, here come that bullshit. Beat it. Ask till the DJ stop the music. They say they want that wild shit mosh pit. Jump up in the crowd, bitch. I'm so
Dobbs is going to get his copyright struck. Like, COG is going to rework self-destruct. Like, when? We fucking don't know. How? No idea. We just know it's going to happen. We just got to wait. As I said before, though, thank you, Space Dude, for the super chat. We'll brick them all. That's right. But yeah, as I said before, like, I'm just grateful that we have physicalized cargo. Really. I'm just glad for that.
And I'm grateful that we have persistent energy streaming.
Yes. There we go.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's Burke's post on soft death, boarding, and piracy. It's a fucking skill issue with soft death. It's okay. We all have that problem with premature detonations. There's pills for that. There's also techniques that you can use to get over that problem too. In this case, trigger discipline. But yes. Alright, that's Burke's post there. Alright, the next one I'm pretty sure is supposed to be a video. Let me double check the order that this was supposed to be in. There it is. That was Ray Guide, and there's an update for Gilded. Ray's Guide, Burke's post, and then after that, it was, yep, I know which one this is. Alright, next one.
Premature detonation. Hey Taylor, would you say these folks on Spectrum are fucking nerds?
I kind of think it goes without saying. Believe it. Alright, so the next bit of content that we're going to be reacting to, we're going to punch through straight to the next one, is... Come on. Just piss me off. It's going to start, isn't it? Yeah.
Hey you.
Oh my... Why is this saying that we're like 50 seconds in? What? Oh my god. Anyway, the next bit of content that we're going to be reacting to is from Dig That 32, and it's where is it? There it is. It's Dig That's 318 stealth updates you didn't know about. So I'm just going to quickly press play so that I can try and rewind it. Dobbs, let me know if this actually starts playing for you and isn't just running for me and not for you.
Greetings and salutations to you. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm fine.
All right.
Any game ever has received, which means it's taking some time to get it dialed in right. By now, you've probably seen the most well-known updates like salvaging, the indoor PTV, racetrack, all that good stuff. But there's a lot of smaller updates that made a stealthy entrance into 3.18 without big announcements behind them. So take a stroll with your boy Dig and see what's on the menu. Like up, sub up, and ring up like a boss.
What?
Now, hang on a second. What's the title of this video, Agents?
Stealth updates you didn't know about.
Now, when you guys chat, when you hear that title, were you like me? And did you think when you see that title, did you think he was talking about stealth gameplay, Because that's what I was thinking that he was going to be talking about, and not just micro updates. Is that just
Nelson
me?
Also said he got clickbaited by the title.
Yeah, I know, dude. Kind of weird, man. Kind of weird.
Maybe we should do a poll. Let's do a poll. Start a poll.
Yeah, because you know stealth gameplay is a thing, and I'm like, oh, this guy has information on stealth gameplay? Wow.
Based on the title. Did you think the video was about stealth gameplay or not? Did I just break chat? No, there we go. All right, there we go. Polls up, guys. Start up voting. Based on the title, did you think that the video was about stealth gameplay or not? Wow. We're only got 13 votes, but there's a lot of people saying yes. More people saying yes than no. I'm quite surprised.
I was debated. I was debated by this video title. How can it be? God damn it.
We're at 50-50 there for a minute. People are still saying yes. Wow. Well, 35 people have voted so far. 54% have said yes. 46 said no. More people are saying yes. All right. Well, we're going to keep watching this. We're gonna watch this video, and the poll will stay up. So, you know, feel free to vote.
Good news for Carrack owners and friends of owners. If you die and respawn into the Carrack, you get an undersuit and helmet. If you've done some group sessions, you know how incredibly useful this is. The Restricted Areas V3 is in-game and is in the patch notes, but not much has been said about it. Now flying into certain restricted areas will get you removed from your bridge and your ship impounded. Different approach, not sure how I feel about it, because it's kind of annoying to have to take the train back to the hangars. Also, the restricted area at the Lorville gates never made a lot of sense to me. Personally, if you're there, it's either to deliver a package or to grab a ground vehicle. Either way, you got a long run ahead of you from the closest distance that you can land at. Sounds like they've reconsidered that for the new Lorville rework, so we'll all be happy to see that. Speaking of happy, your default expression is more happy. Borderline maze happy. No more meme mugging everybody. Tired of scrolling through the comms channel to find a specific person? Well, have no fear, Captain Scroll Wheel. All the names are now alphabetized. Your cursor is now this little hand icon, which, after using it for over a month, still not a fan of it. There's new commodity kiosks at Platinum Bay and other component shops where you can purchase RMC. And maybe just for the moment right now, it's only RMC. Not sure what the purpose will be, but at the moment, it doesn't look like there's much of any purpose since the price is double what you can sell it for at any TDD. If you have any info or thoughts on that, let us know. This one is wild. The Piracy C8R, Drake Cutter, Drake Mule, and the Drake Corsair have been added to in-game shops. Never would I have called that, but
not anymore. They took out the new Pisces, the Cutter, and the Corsair. No idea why. Let's keep this going.
Hey, I'll take them. Obviously, these won't be the prices by the time they hit live. What you think the Corsair will cost? An item port helper has been added to your inventory UI. Toggling it on gives you a view of all the locations on your armor where you can place items like weapons and ammo. The shopping kiosk destination defaults to the location instead of your backpack. Good look there. Head tracking has shorter range. They merge head tracking and free look, which makes it easier for them to work with, but now they have to go through each ship and adjust the tracking range to extend it out, and that's not slated to make the 3.18 live release. If you want to help bump the priority to fix it up, hit the issue council link in the description below. That doesn't speak to the range while in FPS though, cause it's shortened as well. You can see yourself and others visibly breathing, and you've got some new idle animations. Sitting up in the bed now works correctly, so you can finally look out the windows. You just can't turn your head far enough to get that good clean view that you want, but it's progress. You're no longer bedlog and armistice zones. That might be changed in the future though. Now when you buy your multi-tool, you can buy them with the attachments. Now when you open up your inventory, you can see boxes at the bottom of items, and the one on the left will open up the inventory for that item. Box on the right, no idea. Haven't got it to do anything. You can equip gadgets and pistolos to your chest, depending.
The box on the right is to denote that it's actually something that you can interact with, and that it's a container.
And on your torso armor, you can buy gold ingots, artifact fragments, war medals. What can you do with them? Well, beyond decorate your ship interiors, I can't really say, man. The head tracking transition back to normal is smoother. Gen 12 console commands are a thing. There's a return
Also,
button to send the
smaller.
Corsair elevator back.
Yeah, the font for the console is actually sized correctly to the screen now.
Also, by the way, when he was talking about fucking multi-tools, he also didn't say that multi-tools and all of their attachments are now sold at Grimhex. I was there the day it happened. Oh, can I talk about that, Agens?
No, because that happened in a patch that before it was made public.
Yeah, okay. Never mind. But
Back
let me
up.
tell you, I remember that day as if it were yesterday. Crazy.
You can drink while sitting on any chair now. Small thing, but an immersive detail. In inventory, there's a tracker that shows the timing and delay of your moved items, but doesn't always appear, so, you know. Some armor redesign. Listen, I don't mind the new Lynx legs, except I really wish these were in addition to instead of replacing my favorite legs.
That doesn't
They
look
just don't
intentional.
match up with the distressed, wrinkled up space gunslinger pair. Can we get those back, CIG? Like for real though, can we get those? A lot of little things add up to build a more beautiful space life experience. Check out this breakdown to see the current state of 3.18.
It's one of the oldest.
Oh god, what the fuck? What
Going on to the next
excuse me?
one. It's paused.
What? Wait, what? Did it just end? Did it just end
I
like that?
didn't-
What the fuck? What the fuck? Wait a minute.
It kind of just finished. I didn't understand the last point. So yeah, it was stealth updates. Let's go back to the poll. So 56 of you have voted in it so far. And apparently 56 have voted. 57% of the viewers thought it was about stealth gameplay.
Oh, split pretty even, I would say. Wow. Very unexpected considering the chat. At least I can take comfort in the fact that I'm not alone. Thank you, chat.
I kind of understood that he was talking about updates that really don't make it into the patch notes. I didn't think it's stealth gameplay. Because if it was stealth gameplay, it would have been mentioned as stealth gameplay.
He opened a ticket on Spectrum for the Pants to Beach. Wow. Wow. You know what, dude?
Jesus.
To each his own, man. Like you can't really fault him for that, seriously. Like sometimes you just gotta have them pants, bro. Sometimes just
Welcome
denim's
next
just that
to-
important.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't like
Is
the
that-
new update that they've done.
Is that
To the
the
pants.
execute agents in chat?
The execute. Not one of, but the only.
We all die
Sneaky.
alone. Wow,
Could have said
that's
sneaky updates.
Sneak. Yeah, I would have been on board for that.
But, you know, like, it's his title. Can't help that you guys are stupid. You know, like, he's got it wrong. Hidden updates, yeah. Stealth updates you didn't know about. Of course. If it's a stealth update, you probably didn't know about it. I'll tell you now though, like, I didn't really care about most of them. Drop hammer. Clickbait updates you got fooled by. Love it. That's the best. That's the best one. 60 upvotes and we're still at 55% yes, 45% no. Alright, I'm gonna end the poll there. So too bad for all those that missed out.
Winner!
It was almost an even split. Almost an even split. But it is what it is. I actually suggested that video. I was interested to see what, you know, if there was anything, you know, new, interesting that I thought would be, you know, worth knowing. It was an experience. But yeah, let's move on. We're going to move on to the next bit of content, guys. We're going to keep the ball rolling. It is almost 3 AM for me, and I want to be done. So the next one, the next bit of content that we're reacting to is a Spectrum post. Actually, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to link the video from Dig That first. Where did it go? Alright, there you go. That's the video from Dig That. If you want to go check it out, rewatch it without our commentary over the top. There it is there. It's also in the description if you're watching after the stream. But we are going to move on to the next bit of content. So, the next thing that we're reacting to, hello Amiro, that we're reacting to is a Spectrum post. Another Spectrum post. The second one. It's this one right here. And we're just going to jump straight into it. Bam. Right there. Griefing. It's about griefing. There's a video as well that I want to watch. True griefing with PES or legitimate gameplay.
Wow.
By Captain Kilgore.
They pinged Xylo. Uh-oh, here we go.
They pinged Luke Presley, who's pickled at random, and Xylo. Alright, here we go. Hold up. Just had to sneeze. Alright. Should pour myself a drink, actually. I'll have water instead. True griefing with PES or legitimate gameplay at Pickled at Random and at Xylo. CIG. Is this acceptable use of PES? Is it okay because it only hits criminal scum? Yes. If it only hits criminal scum, then that's it. You know, it's okay. 100%.
I love this.
If not, what are you going to do about it? This is not the only example I've seen, but the most successful. If you can't see exactly what is going on, the exit is blocked by a storage box that a player presumably placed there with a tractor beam from the outside. This prevents both vaulting and other attempts at getting past, as can be seen in the attached video.
I love this. I want to see players doing this, please. Chat, take notes. I think this is great.
Other examples include attempting to blocking tunnels with bodies, same player backspacing over and over again at the same place, or blocking the stairs outside Klesher with shipwrecks. All this garbage persists in the Klesher escape tunnels. Of course, this could be my fault. I mean, I could, of course, just have brought escorts that could track the beam the box away from the outside and clear the stair of wrecks. So if this is considered legit gameplay, I would like to know, as I will then seek out similar gameplay to enhance the playing experience of lawful players. Now, the video, it'll show up like tiny as fuck here, won't it? Okay, we're just going to open it up here. It'll be open on stream. But it's an unlisted video. And this is, it goes for 10 minutes, so I'm going to be skipping part of it. But as you can see, this is actually the end.
This is so funny.
This is the end of the escape route. Like, you vault up this yellow ledge here, you crawl through the last little tunnel outside the ventilation shaft, and you're outside in the main ventilation shaft. That is a 2 SU really, box up here.
I want to see someone do this, man. Like, I want to see like a fucking prison gang or some shit. Fucking like just charging for entry and exit in the fucking escape route. Oh my god, man. That is so funny.
As you can see, he's trying to vault up there and he can't. Because there's something above him. So, this guy's going to get inventive. What he's going to do is he's going to make himself a set of stairs.
Just press your left arrow key. Or right arrow key, excuse me. Just keep fucking scrubbing. Right arrow key.
Alright. So yeah, he starts doing that. I'm just going to skip way ahead. He keeps doing this. Keeps making his little set of stairs. Yeah, he's trying to use them to get up. And there's something blocking him behind, so he's going to move the first step. Yeah, he's gotten further
so
up.
Funny.
But he can't vault up. So I think he's going to get more stuff.
Get through, bro.
Let's get more stuff here.
Dude, I can't think of like, I love, this is so funny. This is probably like the best use of persistent entity streaming I've ever seen. Oh my god. Look at the creativity in his box stacking though. Like, look at just the sheer innovation and problem solving that this guy has. Like, this is the kind of gameplay that Star Citizen needs, man. Like, this is like, boxes can create problems, but boxes can also solve problems. Okay, let's just keep that in mind, chat.
What I ended up doing, I replied to this post here. Alright, let's keep skipping through. I think he eventually gets stuck. Still can't get up, like he's on his top stack. Can't get up.
He's so close. Oh god, he's so close.
Come on. He opens it. He can open it. My only problem with this is that it's stuck in the geometry of the roof. So you can't like move it physically. You probably grab one of those other boxes and kind of just like push it around. Try and use a physics jank to throw it out. Or you may end up making it worse, but whatever.
This reminds me of, like, you ever watch like those fucking cave diving videos on YouTube where like these guys have these GoPros and they're fucking shimmying their way through, like, I don't know, like 10 inches of fucking clearance, and they're just like squeezing through, like using their shoulders and arms and shit. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. They keep going. They're trying to get through. They clearly can't. They almost got through at that point. Like, they're trying to squeeze through that little gap there. And there's a little box tower that he was falling over. Yeah, like that's what he was going for, and it wasn't working out for him.
You have to appreciate the time and effort this guy went through, though. He didn't just see that and fucking Alt F4. He actually tried. So let's give a round of applause to that guy. That guy's my fucking hero. Let's just be clear.
So, whether or not, thank you, Space Dude. Whether or not, oh mate, yeah, like gets an answer from CIG is another thing. I don't think there was actually a response. There's no little tag up here to say that CIG responded to it. Let's have a look at the top voted post response to this. Fuck, do we really have to read this one? Yeah, I'm just scrolling past this. Because it's just fucking Tesseract being a PvE Care Bear. Alright, they're arguing about the semantics of the fucking moderation rules for Spectrum and PvE shit. Ty commented. I actually like this comment a lot, but as you can see, I've upvoted it. You should all upvote it too. In fact, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to share it. Upvote that. If you see Ty's post, upvote it. It needs to be higher. But Ty says this is not a bug. This is systems working as designed, interacting in emergent ways. 100%. Tools exist in the game to resolve this without going crying to mummy CIG. 100%. You can get help from the outside. It wasn't that long ago all prison escapes needed help. Needed outside help, and that was fine. You can place your backpack to that eclipse into the box and clears it using physics jank, as I said before. There are other ways out of prison. You can server hop. Customer service does not exist for you to get back at people who are mean to you and or slightly inconvenience you. This game is at its best when it affords you the opportunity to think creatively and use all the tools and systems available to you to overcome a new problem. Play Star Citizen harder. %.
Man, Ty always has some fucking based takes, bro. God, Ty, man, if you were here, I'd fucking give you a hug, man. You are a valued and important member of this community.
Does bring up an interesting issue with regards to persistent entity streaming and blocking access to areas. Execute. No, there's a public one now. Let me
Somebody clip what I said about Ty, by the way. Somebody clip what I said about Ty and send it to Ty. I want him to know that I said that. Somebody do it here.
On the wrong window. There we go. Is there clipping on YouTube? I think you can.
Yes, you can
Pretty sure you
indeed
can.
clip on YouTube. Yeah.
Execute that link there is to our public Guilded server now. Where are we? I want to find my post. Here we go. It's only got 3 upvotes, but that's okay. Reason why I'm actually looking at mine is that I kind of bring up a point that I don't think a lot of people thought of when they first saw this. Phoba and that have been bringing it up in chat. Here's the thing is like, yeah, it's an inventive way of using PS to stop people from leaving the prison, but it's not the end of the world. Like, it's a pain, but you can leave in other ways. And in fact, escaping prison is probably the longer method of leaving. So, you know, like, there's different points, you know, of getting that box to that location where COG could put checks and balances in to prevent somebody from actually taking a box there. No, for example, having NPCs, you know, patrolling around that you got to defeat. I don't think it should be taken out completely though. I like the idea of having it there. I'm all about options when it comes to gameplay. You know, add as many options in and then give the players tools and then they can come up with their own solutions. Yeah, like server hopping is a temporary solution, but when we get fucking server meshing, you know, we're all stuck in the same fishbowl. So like, somebody's got to come up with a solution to the problem, right? But I think, you know, we've got the tools already, and there'll be enough people around where they'll, you know, take the opportunity to leverage this to their advantage. To be honest, I don't like that solo mission. I don't think there should be a solo mission for escaping prison. If you want to get out of prison and you're by yourself, you know, do the time. But the thing is that it's not really in, you know, like the player's interest to have that route blocked. But I personally see a opportunity, a business opportunity, where you charge for the, you know, privilege of being able to escape.
Be right back.
No worries. You know, like, prison gangs are going to be a thing. They're going to block the prison escape route. You're probably going to have to pay to get your way, you know, to get out. Not really supposed to be leaving, you know, via that way. It's there for, you know, a different option. Yes, Reactor was the box. But this is the thing, is like, it's a potential opportunity. For making credits. And that's what I would be doing. 100%. I wanted to focus on, you know, like just a very, you know, small part of Star Citizen, you know, the prison gameplay loop. And I wanted to try and turn it into a lucrative business. Being able to make credits, or, you know, being able to earn merits, being able to escape prison. Every facet that allows you to earn something, or, you know, like achieve something, it's going to have taxes on it. You're going to tax it all. But I need to make sure that I have a prison gang large enough they could do it. Fucking oath I would. And that escape route is an asset. You want to control that asset. Best way of doing it, block the fucking exit. But we've seen like you know, boxes being used at Jumptown to block doorways. It's actually one of the reasons why CIG reworked the building for Jumptown. They reworked the building for Jumptown because you had one entrance to get in, and pretty much, you know, just took 1 to 3 people to hold it down. You put a box in the front, make it difficult for people to like run through. And then just a guy with a grenade launcher at the back, and the other 2 guys can just have guns, and you just grenade launcher into the airlock and just gun the people down. You may get 1 or 2 of the guys down, but the grenade launcher gets you. You can try and push through though. It's not impossible. But yeah, is this true griefing with PES, or is this legit gameplay? What do you guys think? I think the clipping of the box and the roof so it stays there is a problem, but I don't see blocking the exit as an issue. Let's do another poll. Alright. Is blocking prison escape tunnel exit griefing? Is blocking the prison escape tunnel exit griefing?
Griefing.
Asking you. I'm asking the chat. I should have done this at the start, before we started watching that video, because we're coming to the end of this bloody particular segment. It's not a long one. Holy shit, 13, 14 votes.
Mongrel Squad Care Bear definition or the actual English definition? You know what? I'll help you with this. Hold on. Right, are you ready to hear this? Via Urban Dictionary, Care Bear. First definition is, quote, lightly derogatory term for an MMO player who avoids PvP combat, heavily preferring cooperative or solo PvE combat, chatting, or developing trade skills / running quests. Depending on the game and the individual, this PvP avoidance can show up in several ways. By playing on strict non-PvP servers, by avoiding PvP areas or declining duels, or by avoiding or condemning PvP players. Philosophically, they often cite unbalanced combat systems, overpowered guilds, eBayed characters, and ganking as reasons to prefer less aggressive play. The mindset can be self-sustaining in several ways. High-level, quote, Care Bears may have avatars that are tailored for PvE, not PvP. They may not network with skilled PvP players, or they may morally refuse to learn aggressive PvP tactics. As an insult, the term applies less to players who merely prefer PvE to PvP, and more to individuals who question the basic legitimacy of PvP or who greatly overreact to their avatar's deaths. Bear in mind that it is strictly incorrect to refer to the victims of heavy exploiters as Care Bears.
So, the context of the question though, Dobbs, that's the definition of a Care Bear. Are we talking about the Care Bear's definition of griefing or the actual definition of griefing?
I mean,
so this is just a generic question. I'm not referencing the video. Like, I'm just talking about blocking the prison exit. So blocking the prison escape tunnel exit could literally be just a guy with a gun shooting anyone that comes near it. So far we got 37 votes, and we're looking at 14% saying yes, it is griefing, and 86% saying no. Forty votes now, 12% saying yes, 88% saying no. So we got 73 viewers though. Surely we got some more people to vote. That said though, we are over the halfway threshold, so I'm pretty confident that it's a resounding no. Alright, we're on 42 upvotes. Well, it's 42 votes. I'm just going to end the poll. 43. I'm ending the poll now. Too bad, so sad if you missed out. We're ending the poll there. So out of 43 people, 88% said no, 11% said yes. And this is blocking the prison escape tunnel exit griefing. Now here's the thing. There's more than one way to get out of prison. Blocking the prison escape tunnel could happen at any point, really. And technically, even CIG has set up obstacles there to make it more difficult for you to escape. A box being set up at the end is just another obstacle. Or a guy standing there with a gun is just another obstacle. And that's the thing, guys, is that the mentality of where you're sitting there going, no, that's griefing because it's, you know, preventing gameplay. No, it's not. It's an obstacle to get around. That's what you need to work through. Whether or not you ask for help or you decide to go a different way to get around the obstacle. It's not griefing. You got to come up with a solution to overcome the obstacle that's put in front of you. That's all it really is. It's just another obstacle. At the end of the day, when it comes to this sort of gameplay, you're just going to have to learn to deal with it, you know, adapt and overcome. Because if you get stuck into this mentality of, you know, as Ty pointed out, you know, like, oh, expecting CIG to constantly fix the problem for you, you're going to end up a very disappointed backer. The CIG pushes back and they want people playing the game, engaging in the gameplay, and coming up with their own solutions because that's part of the gameplay. %. Problems are opportunities for solutions, but they're also opportunities for stories, experiences. And that's the thing, is like, there's only so much that CIG will be able to add to the game that'll keep you entertained from a, you know, like, spoon-fed perspective. So, you know, like being given missions, being given storytellers, being given NPCs, you know, fetch quests and all that sort of shit. Realistically, the end game for Star Citizen is going to come from, you know, emergent gameplay, you know, like finding your own way, trying to make your own gameplay. And people have been doing it already, you know, like the racing leagues are a really good example. Players engaging in piracy. the organizations that all, get together and we'll have these massive, large org PvP battles. There's opportunity for gameplay beyond what CIG presents us. It really just comes down to players engaging in it, being inventive with their thinking and pushing to make it a thing. That's the thing about this is like, if you always approach, problems in Star Citizen with a mentality that CIG is supposed to fix it for you, you're just not going to make it. You're not going to make it.
Fix it for me, Agens.
That's enough on that one. I think that's enough on that particular Spectrum post. It's an interesting, problem that was brought up. It does bring up an interesting point about, persistent entity streaming potentially being an issue when it comes to blocking certain things, because take an 890 jump and just fucking, landed on a hangar. Unless CIG's got a method of, like the impounding mechanics are working, then, it'll fuck it off. But if you, somehow soft death the ship above the hangar and the wreckage is there, then what? Do it enough times, then what? What's happening with that wreckage? Eventually, CIG will add a solution. Ironically, it was hinted in the last weekly report, where you had the SRV and, the tractor beam attachment for towing ships. Could be a job. Fly around the fucking stations and just tow the, wreckages away. But you gotta wait for that. And that's the thing. Solutions will come eventually. Alright, we're going to move on to the next bit of content. Like, this is the last one. And to be honest, I'm actually glad that we're finishing on this one, because I think this is actually a really important issue. It's a really important problem, and it does need to be addressed. I'm glad that Detox spent the time, bringing this out into the light. Honestly, though, like, I still feel like there's not enough known about this particular issue, really, for anybody to make enough commentary on it. So here's the video here. That should take you directly to it. We're going to be reacting to the Star Citizen feature bug no one is talking about. Question mark. By Detox.
Question mark. Let's
Yes.
find out.
I'll mute the music first. If it'll let me. There we go. Done.
This bugs that refuses to die. It's practically become a feature. It's lurking around every corner. It's in your ships.
Oh,
it's
God.
in your habs.
I'm scared.
And it's inside our stations.
No, they're getting body dragged by an invisible person.
It's at your dynamic
Fucking
events,
love that.
your jump towns, and your xenothreats. And it strikes when you leave.
Hey, what the?
It's Greedy! Greedy! Hey, Greedy, you're famous.
Hey,
You're on YouTube, man. Greedy, you're famous now.
Look at that. Greedy, my man.
We can't see
Hey,
you,
somebody clip that. Somebody clip it, please.
though.
You can see blood splatters hitting you. Oh, stop it.
That's good.
I cannot
good.
see either of you, and if there's a ship here, I cannot see that.
Oh, nice.
This is getting a little bit ridiculous now, and it's starting to feel like we're screaming into a void and nobody's listening, least of all CIG, regarding this issue. The invisible player bug has been around a long time, but it seems like players don't want to acknowledge it, least of all CIG. Sure, they've claimed it's fixed multiple times and even archived it on the issue council multiple times, but whenever we've tested it after a supposed fix, it never actually is fixed. So, I'm making this video to entertain, inform, and generate some discussion around what I believe is simply game breaking. As someone who enjoys playing with other players in Star Citizen, this problem has basically rendered that notion impossible. In a multiplayer game, in a multiplayer world where other players can influence the outcome of another player's gameplay, the ability to see said players is pretty damn paramount. Yet this is hardly being acknowledged. I think most players don't even know this issue exists or how widespread it actually is. And for those who do know it exists, they don't encounter it regularly enough to see it as a big problem, especially if you're more of a solo player or stick to very small groups whenever you play. So, please let me know in the comments below if you knew this was a bug, before seeing this video, as it might give me a better idea of community awareness surrounding
these animations are really crisp.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example of a recent incident where me and my group developed the Hollow Man bug halfway through a small group session. We started off fine, playing as a group, hitting bunkers as we often do. We flew to Port Olisar, where our ship crashed, and everyone inside died, as we often do. Myself and another player, True Sneak, respawned in Orison, while our friends respawned at Grim Hex. Upon returning to Port Olisar to regroup, half of the group, including 2 ships, were invisible to me. True Sneak, my pilot, also couldn't see them. Additionally, True Sneak, seen here, left the ship in EVA, and as I went to leave, my character stumbled and sort of lagged in position. Once I stood up, True Sneak had completely disappeared. At this point, the only way to fix the issue seems to be a relog. And this is just one example of an occurrence of the Hollow Man bug.
I can't tell you how many times this has happened, like when doing boarding training.
I see it.
If you're a fan of my...
We've been experiencing this a lot too.
Yeah, this happens so much when we're doing boarding training. Like, for instance, if we do like a boarding simulation where like we have attackers and defenders and everything, after the simulation and people respawn and come back, can't tell you how many times people have had to relog and find a chair to sit in or do something to try to navigate that bug. But yeah, it's been a pain in the ass for a long time.
When we've encountered it, it's been from experiencing crashes and then rejoining on a party or a party member on a server, and then it just, yeah, like that one person just cannot be seen. Yeah, that's right. Like people respawning. To be honest, like the common factor about this is respawning, and I think it actually has something to do with container transitions and clients not being updated or not being communicated between each other correctly. But you know, once again, it's a CIG wouldn't have more of an idea.
I like to do things somewhat big, from FPS training and combat to full-blown fleet battles. So when you're playing with a large part of the server population on a regular basis, the likelihood of encountering this issue increases exponentially, and we've encountered it a lot over the last 2 years. We started noticing issues with invisible players in patch 3.8. So my first question was, what was so significant about 3.8? What changed? What could be creating this problem? Our best guess would be the addition of SOCs, server-side object container streaming.
Server object container streaming is an important milestone because it allows us to achieve a certain scale in the game that we weren't able to previously.
To put more content for the players to explore without being limited by server resources.
Core tech integral to Star Citizen's future as a fully functioning real-time MMO. Now imagine In 318, where we now have the prospect of boarding ships, stealing cargo for profit,
Sorry,
and the
that made me
FPS
laugh.
arena that is SBK. Not to mention Jumptown, Xenothreat, Ninetales Lockdown, Siege of Orison, all these other large events where lots of people are going to be impacting each other's outcomes. I don't think I have to tell you how game-breaking it is for invisible players to be running rampant around these gameplay loops. So my first question is, why? Why is this bug proving so relentless? Again, our theory is that this bug is somehow deeply rooted in SOX, which is roughly around the time when the bug first appeared and started as in 3.8. Now bear with me because I am not a developer, nor do I intend to become one. So I'm probably going to sound like a dum-dum, but here's my take on it. Server-side object container streaming allows the game to stream players, places, objects in and out of existence, only showing them to you, the player, when it is necessary in order to preserve server-side resources. What it looks like is happening is these resources, in this case players and ships, are being streamed out for some clients in the verse but failing to stream back in properly when the need arises. The game seems to develop an issue during play sessions whereby it fails to place a player into the correct container after that player has crossed the threshold of a different container.
So this would be true to a certain extent if you couldn't interact with that player. But even in this video, they've proven that some players could interact with them and others couldn't, which means that it's less about the server and more about clients being communicated with correctly.
Something. It seems to be what we have observed over time, as this problem occurs when you transition from a ship's physics grid or logged out in a bed, then re-entered the verse, or simply died and respawned in a ship's bed or landing zone hospital, outside of a container or area that you and other players were previously synced with. You're in the same server and shard, but it's like the game failed to register your client after crossing a container threshold. Ultimately, you could just say it's desync, but the fact that this bug has been consistent for 2 years now, I believe it goes deeper. It also
Yeah, that's the thing about this, is that this particular issue, right, they're generalizing here to try and, communicate it amongst a larger audience. If it was a desync between the server and clients, the server would be rubber banding you a lot more. Because in a server authoritative game environment, which essentially is where Stars is in transition to when SOX was introduced, server authoritative system is the ultimate truth of where everybody else is. Now, the problem that you're going to have is that clients have to, like the server has to update all the clients with each other, what's going on. Where the clients are in relation to each other, the server knows and is supposed to be telling the other clients. It's potentially tied to it there, Lewis, but maybe not. But yeah, like, to me, this comes across as more like a server to client issue where clients aren't being updated with the information that they need on where other clients are correctly. And the triggering point for it is a client is essentially, and more than likely, incorrectly not updated when they return or get close enough to other clients to be within visual range of them. The server's not going, hey, like client A, you're supposed to see client B. That isn't happening. And this is a very simplified, like very, very simplified explanation for that. I don't see how it's tied to server-side object container streaming other than the server not telling clients that, like essentially updating, all the clients around, a singular client. Hey, this other entity is also within your space. Because technically, clients would be creating a copy of the server space and then rendering it out so it's a visual thing for you to be able to see. So with that in mind, if your, you know, like version of, you know, like that snippet of the server that you're operating in, if it doesn't get told, hey, there's this other client there and it's not updating you, you don't see them at all. But that person, you know, who's invisible to you, they're still communicating with the server and the server is still updating, you know, like other clients around that can see them. Yeah, like I'm not seeing exactly how they're seeing it with, you know, server-side object container streaming being the issue.
Also appears to be much worse in 3.18. This tech is an intrinsic part of making Star Citizen work the way it does, and that is why I think this bug is particularly hard for CIG to squash. I'm also a little bit concerned about CIG's silence on the issue, as even when it is claimed to be fixed on the issue council, I do not believe it has ever been listed as a fixed bug in prior patch notes. And
I'm back,
as
sorry.
previously mentioned, it's never actually fixed.
Welcome back.
That being said, they have recently acknowledged an issue with the lower Valkyrie turret, making players go invisible after interaction, which could well be a very good place for CIG to start, or at least a good indication that CIG is aware of the issue to some degree. But are they aware of how widespread this problem is and how commonly it can occur? And will they acknowledge or at least address the community on a game-breaking issue that we have endured for 2 years now? Or is CIG unable to shine some light on this? Are they struggling to figure it out? Is there an inherent problem with the core tech of SOCs? Or are we once again going to be waiting for a fresh carrot on a stick, some silver bullet tech that will come along and fix this for future renditions of the game? Frankly, I'm getting tired of this problem persisting through every patch since its arrival. I would like to continue backing and playing Star Citizen with confidence in the fact that CIG is aware of this problem and what might be required to fix it. The best outcome of this video would be some acknowledgement from CIG and some endorsement from the Star Citizen community. I'm also just trying to raise awareness about this issue, a PSA for players, and to try and create a shift in consciousness around this bug. You might have had a run-in with this bug in the verse and assumed someone was cheating, for example.
So, that's the invisibility bug. It's
Again,
been around.
That video kind of ended
iterations.
weirdly, like the last one did.
Yeah, it's a fucking YouTube algorithm thing. Like, it's to stop people from, you know, like, oh, we're at the end of the video now, we'll just, you know, click off. And, you know, to prevent the dip that you get at the end of most videos. That's right, Space Dude. Like, that's the main issue, is like how the bug is triggered could be different every single time, which could indicate a different issue every single time that has the same result. So realistically, like, I get your point that, you know, like, complaining about the bug, you know, is, you know, not helpful, you know, like making this sort of video, but I think it needs to be pushed out to the community more. Like, I want to, you know, I wanted to spend more time on trying to investigate the invisibility bug that we encountered yesterday, but the problem that I had was that I couldn't come up with reliable reproduction steps before we would start testing, because the conditions for reproducing the bug are so random. And CIG does need to care about this particular issue, because especially in 3.18, if it becomes more prevalent. Well, there's something like it appears that CIG isn't doing anything, and realistically, nobody, you know, like Space Dude, you know this about when it comes to any sort of programming or any sort of, you know, it's manufacturing or, you know, any sort of service job. Nobody complains until something's broken. And if it keeps being broken and the result is still the same, you're going to expect, you know, you're going to sit there and go, well, you know, you said that you fixed this, but I'm still getting the same result over and over again. And that's the problem, is that the result is still the same, even though the triggers are different. And it's all, you know, like they're just going to sit there and go, well, it's the same bug. It's the same bug. It's the same result. Can't help that. To be honest, like, I want to, you know, like put more time into trying to reproduce, you know, making people go invisible. Not for, you know, like exploiting, but just to present to CIG, hey, like we were able to find a method. This method here can reliably reproduce, you know, the conditions to turn your character invisible. And just keep presenting, you know, like present that to CIG and, you know, see what they do with it. If they fix it or if they don't. And then, you know, if we encounter it again, you know, like try and work out the conditions to reproduce at that time. Yeah, like I really wanted to share that one with you all. Like, I'm glad that it got upvoted, because regardless of what Detox is saying with, you know, like CIG fixing it or not, or, you know, like that they're not fixing it, word still needs to get pushed out there. Like, you all still need to be made aware of it. Ideally, if you encounter it, like try and pay more attention to what actually happens when you encounter the bug. And then see, you know, like if you've got the time and energy, because it's a fucking hard bug to reproduce. See if you've got, you know, like if you can reproduce the conditions or reproduce the result by, you know, a certain set of conditions. And if you can do that, make an IC report, you know, make a video of it, share it with others, like, you know, Mongrel Squad public server. You know, like share it there. There's an issue council report section there. Share it there. So that we can also look at it. We'll investigate and, you know, we'll, you know, reproduce the results and we'll upvote if we can do it. But I think it's 3:45 for me. I think it's about time that we start wrapping the stream up. How soon till 3:18 PU? No idea, man. No idea. So yeah, it's pretty I wouldn't say non-eventful stream, but other than the first video, the rest of it was pretty chilled. First bit of content just did not like, but that's purely because I have this thing that if you're going to try and talk about a subject, at least know what you're fucking on about. Don't start throwing out random numbers, and don't start trying to speculate if you don't know. You just, in the presence of people that who do know, you're just making a fool of yourself.
Embarrassing, but other than that, some based takes all around, wouldn't you say so, chat?
Just grabbing the public server invite for you all. I want to share this with you guys. I want on a bit of a a suggestion binge in the reaction and rant topics channel on the Mongrel Squad public server. If you're not already on it, highly recommend that you jump in on there. Jump on our public server, because you can suggest content for us to react to. And I'm aiming to try and have about 24 hours now, trying to get there. Depends on my work schedule. But 24 hours of putting a poll up for you guys to vote on what we react to, so that you get a bit more of a say. Because as you can see, if you're showing up for these or you're watching them later, like, these reaction streams go a lot longer than most other content creators, because we like to drill down. You know, provide our critique, provide our feedback. Not try and churn this shit out like it's a bloody production line, like we're on a factory line. Try and, you know, like, present the content and our reactions and, you know, our rants in a more meaningful way. Democracy is not always a good solution. That's okay. I could still overrule. Dobbs will still provide his input if he doesn't want to react to something. Or if he does want to react to something, like, we'll just throw extra shit in if we want. Yeah. Join us on the public Mongrel Squad server. Also a reminder, last week we launched our sister organizations, the Mongrel Auxiliaries, Stellar Packrat Logistics, and the Murex Cartel, which all, along with Mongrel Squad, make up the Mongrel Corps. Details for that are in the description of this video, if you're interested. The sister orgs are a bit more casual. So if you're looking at getting more involved in Star Citizen, I want to be tied along with a more notorious and infamous piracy organization, aka Mongrel Squad, but don't have the time, or you know, like, don't feel like you've got the experience or knowledge yet to be able to join Mongrel Squad, or you're just not interested in piracy gameplay but still want to support us in some way, shape or form, check them out. They might be what you're looking for. Anyway, I appreciate everybody showing up for the stream. Really do. It was a good stream. Good chat. Good to see a lot of familiar faces. More than likely, this stream is going to be on the same time next week. I forgot to update the calendar until like fucking 2 hours before the stream was supposed to start. I apologize for that. I'm going to try and make sure that next time, Thursday it'll be for me, when I update my calendar, that I'll make sure that I update the Gilded calendar for the public server too, so that you all know when the live stream is going to be on. Got a Mongrel Corps coming up as well in the next couple of weeks. Not this Saturday coming, but the one after. We're going to be hunting down guests for it this week. Still haven't decided on the topic. I'm kind of torn between two. But I don't want to reveal them yet, because depending on what topic I decide on will depend on the guests that I go for. But yeah, that's it for this stream. Thank you all very much. I hope you're all ready to be inspired. Say bye, Dobbs.
Goodbye, Dobbs.
There you go. Hope you all have a good day, and we'll finish off with an inspiring outro. Catch us all next week.
Say to yourself, my living is pretty cool. In ancient India, a poor woodsman once approached an ugly, old hag and asked her, "How come you are so nice, you who are merely an ugly, old hag?" "The answer to that is because I know that I am honest," replied the hag. When hearing this, the woodsman became sure that the hag had made fun of him, and carried it with him for the rest of his life, and later in his life, He killed himself. Resumed vanishing. Extend your body all the way down your cranium. You as an individual is interconnected with the floor beneath you. The people who mess around with leaders are not as off target as the people who mess around with time. Remind yourself that you are magical. Do you really think it's right that a fully grown guy who's scared of victim blaming is only into lies? Increase medical privileges. If you find it difficult to get into the right state, entertain the idea of this ancient Buddhist proverb, take on warnings and do something weird. There's a proven link between paranoia and low impulse control. Your soul is breathing together with the air that surrounds you. It's not an actor. It's so incredibly much more. It's a company. Remember to tell yourself, my existence is significant. Say to yourself repeatedly, I am so kind, I am so kind. Pay attention to how your butt cheeks are focusing. Notice the connection between your sphincter and the infinite. Take a deep breath. Music inspires us to sacrifice what any lesser intelligent human being would consider unsacrificable. Stay focused on your breath. Do not forget that your victim can feel pathetic. Can you feel how the voices in your head are one with the earth? Are new heroes more lucky than other heroes? Allow yourself to think gently. Society is forcing you to spy on people. To some it's nerds. To others it's so incredibly much more. It's abuse.